Hey folks, welcome back to another trade review. Hope y'all had an awesome weekend. I took a trip down to Ottawa City where I stayed in this upscale hotel and had spectacular views. I'm currently working on that video, so stay tuned. I'm going to release that tomorrow. What a great start to the week. We saw quite a few setups today and the volume was there as well. First things first, I want to go over my Twitter watch list. I put it out every single morning. Let's have a look here. In the morning, I was looking at GBR, HTGM, APOP, and SCON. Now, how do I come up with this watch list? I look for stocks that are gapping up. Not only that, but I also look for stocks that have a low float with a bit of pre-market volume. The reason is because you want to see where most of the interest is. If most traders are looking at APOP, then it must mean that if there is a move on APOP, then there's going to be a lot of volume coming in, and that results in profitable trades. Now that we've seen the morning watch list, let's see what happened when the market opened. Starting off with GBR, this is where most of the volume was in the morning, so let's have a look at the chart. So in the morning, this had a gap up of about 30%, and then it ran to a high of 227 before selling off, and you can see the price action just held there at the 215 mark. But if you look at the volume bars here, you can see right when the market opened, that's when most of the volume came in. So if I just zoom in over here, we're going to see a perfect setup just now, and I'll draw a few lines to show you as well. We saw that the pre-market high was 230, so the break of 230 would be a buy entry. But for those of you who are looking for an early entry, what you could do is the red to green move. Let me just show you what I mean by red to green move. If you look at the first candle here, you can see that the stock opened at 213. Now, right when it opened, it sold off to begin with. The reason is because people are holding this from yesterday or the day before. And when a stock gaps up, then those scalpers are looking to sell off their positions. Therefore, it's safe never to just jump in as soon as the market opens. You should always watch the price action when the market opens to see if it makes a U-shaped breakout. In this case, you can see that the stock sold off before coming back up and making this U-shaped breakout. At the same time, you can see that this is a red to green move as well. The reason being is because the stock opened up at 215 and the break of 215 could see this go for a run. As you can see, when this broke 215, it went for a massive rip all the way up till a high of 336 before selling off. And then it made this U-shape, so it was coming back to 336. People would look for an entry at this break of 336 for a second run, and that's exactly what happened, taking it all the way up to 375. So let me just draw lines here so you can see this more clearly. Higher lows and this resistance line causes this to break out. This is called the red to green or U-shaped breakout. And then you have this run and it reaches a new high. Once it reaches this new high, you can draw another line there to show that this is previous resistance. And then look at the price action. So you can see it's selling off before picking up again and it's building higher lows. Break of that could see this go for another run. It broke this level here, so let's see how high this went. And there you have it, to a high of 379. Now, if this sold off and came back up again, then people would look for that break of 380 up to the next whole dollar mark, which in this case is $4. But instead, it came below the 13 EMA, and that's a bearish sign. So people started shorting the stock all the way back to VWAP, which was at 314. In fact, it had support at $3, and that's where a few people picked up all the way back up to 350. So for those of you who look for bounce plays, always remember if it rips past this whole dollar mark, for instance, $3 in this case, then when it's coming back down, it would usually bounce off that mark as well. So that's a bounce play. But when you get in at 3, just remember that it may not rip as hard as it did the first time. So it's important to remember just to make a small scalp for 10, 15 cents. After this bounce off 3, you can see that it was trading within a channel. The channel that I was trading in would be a low of $3 to a high of 350. So a break of 350 could have seen this go for a run, or a break of $3, which happened in this case, would show that the stock is bearish, and then people would start pulling out their positions. Now, the real test for the stock at this moment is a break of 3 or this crackdown from 277. And you can see it happening live right now. So it's at 275. It just broke down from this support level, which means it may crash further down. Next support level would be at that $0.50 mark at 250. After that, it's back to $2 where it first started. So based on this chart, you can see that most of the money to be made is in the morning. After that, it's sold off and then it's harder to make your money because you're usually scalping and there's a lot of risk involved with that. Moving on, let's have a look at APOP. This ran first thing in the morning, so you can see pre-market, it had a high of about 870. And first thing in the morning, this actually had a news article, so let's have a look at that. If I bring up Yahoo Finance and search APOP, this article came out in the morning and it's called Select Announces Successful First Cancer Patient Stem Cell Transplant, which is excellent news because everyone's looking for these positive results. In this case, it's saying that it had its first successful transplant. Essentially what that means is all of the research and development along with the funding and efforts put together created this trial to be very successful. This gives us as traders an opportunity to capitalize off that price movement. Let's have a look at how the market reacted to this news. Right when the market opened, this actually broke out the pre-market high of 870 and went for a run up to 1350. which is crazy because if you got in at 870, I'm pretty sure you would have sold at $10 because $10 is that whole dollar resistance that everyone was looking at. Even if we look at the 6-month chart, let's see if there's a previous resistance over here. Over 1 year, it's never gone this high. So there's no telling as to how high it will go, but it's always better to be safe. So if you got in at 870, you should be looking to sell around $10. All this is just extra. It's because of hype, chat rooms pumping it, Twitter, stock twits, the news is spreading, and traders are just getting a bit of the piece. After I had this run in the morning, it sold off and then it was consolidating for the rest of the day. So we can draw a channel over here because there's a high of $11.78 and a low of $10. It touched this $10 mark, bounced off it, touched it again, ran up to $11.72 before coming back down. And now it's just at 10.8. So it's going sideways. I can draw this support line right over here and the resistance over there to show that it's currently trading within a channel. Last but not least, we saw NAKD have some movement today. This is a sleeper pick. So what I see is that there's a resistance of 250 and the break of this 250 level could see this go for a huge run. Now it did break 250, but it only ran to 255. The reason was because the volume was so low. So you can see it went from 165,000 all the way back down to about 50,000. People were actually selling off here. You can see that this was a swing play as well. So people picked it up right around 2.2, which was the 50-day moving average, and they sold at 250. But one important thing to note here is that it is making higher lows. So if this comes back to 250, we may be able to see another rip all the way back to $3. So that sums up the hottest plays for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like for more feature videos and also provide some honest feedback in the comments below. As always, I'll see you in the next video.